So here are two more examples of subject-verb agreement questions that I have taken from the GMAT exam, and if we get time we'll have a look at a dangling modifier as well. I haven't actually explained that on this course yet, but I'm confident that you'll understand it even after just a couple of minutes, because I think there are a lot of difficult topics on this course, and so you'll already be able to handle dangling modifiers. But have a look at this. And I want you to all remember that A, B, C, D and E are different versions of this. A is actually exactly the same as the original version, and then B is slightly different, C is slightly different, D is slightly different, and E is slightly different. And I've highlighted some words that I want you to focus on, and of course they are the verbs, because we're doing subject-verb agreement. So, consumption of bread products made from ergot-infected grains often trigger severely debilitating symptoms such as muscle contractions, seizures and gangrene, but at a proper dose also cause a significant reduction in maternal bleeding after childbirth. And as always in this exam, I read the sentence and I think, that sounds fine. It's only when you analyse more closely that you start to realise that there are some problems. And of course, I'm telling you straight away that this is about subject-verb agreement, and so I have highlighted the two verbs, because there are actually two verbs in this sentence, and only one subject for both the verbs. So that does mean that they ought to be both in the singular form or both in the plural form, depending on whether we have a plural or singular subject. Okay? And so to find out what the subject of trigger is, or the subject of cause, you have to ask yourself, what triggers severely debilitating symptoms, and what causes a significant reduction in maternal bleeding after childbirth? And I'm sure you all agree that it's consumption of bread products made from ergot-infected grains, but which one of those words is the most important word? Which one of those words is at the top of the noun phrase? Because all the other parts of the noun phrase are actually describing it, and it's right at the peak of this noun phrase. Which one? Is it bread products? Is it ergot-infected grains? Which one is right at the top of the pyramid? And I hope that you can all see that it's consumption. And then we have a prepositional phrase describing the kind of consumption. And because the prepositional phrase, the of blah, 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 is all describing consumption, that means that consumption is at the top of the pyramid. It's consumption which is being described by every other word in the noun phrase, okay? And so it's consumption of blah, 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 which triggers severely debilitating symptoms and causes a significant reduction in maternal bleeding after childbirth. And that's why we can already say that it's option C, which is correct here, because it's got triggers and causes, and none of the other options have triggers and causes. But it's a singular noun which is the subject of these two verbs. It's consumption of blah blah blah. A lot of people think it's bread products which trigger the severely debilitating symptoms, but it's not just the bread products. You have to consume the bread products. The bread products sitting there on a plate don't do anything. And so the idea is that consumption is the main word here. It's the top of the noun phrase. It's the subject of the verb. And I hope that shows you just how difficult it can be to decide what the subject of the verb is. Really, of bread products is describing consumption, and then made from ergot-infected grains is describing bread products. And so it really is consumption that's right at the top. Yeah, the bread products are made from ergot-infected grains, and it's the consumption of the bread products which causes and triggers these terrible things, or triggers the debilitating symptoms, but also causes a significant reduction in maternal bleeding. So yeah, C is correct here. I'll give it a Y for yes. Let's have a look now at number 5, and